Crap is also a form of stuff. Crap is the stuff that belongs to the person you just broke up with. When are you coming over here to pick up the rest of your crap? Now let's talk about traveling. Sometimes you go on vacation, and you gotta take some of your stuff. Mostly stuff to wear. But which stuff should you take? Can't take all your stuff. Just the stuff you really like. The stuff that fits you well that month. In effect, on vacation, you take a smaller, second version of your stuff. Let's say you go to Honolulu for 2 weeks. You got to take 2 big suitcases of stuff. 2 weeks, 2 big suitcases. That's the stuff you check onto the plane. But you also got your carry-on stuff, plus the stuff you bought in the airport. So now you're all set to go. You got stuff in the overhead rack, stuff under the seat, stuff in the seat pocket, and stuff in your lap. And let's not forget the stuff you're going to steal from the airline. Silverware, soap, blanket, toilet paper, salt, and pepper shakers. Too bad those headsets won't work at home. And so you fly to Honolulu and claim your stuff, if the airline didn't drop it in the ocean. And you go to the hotel, and the first thing you do is put away your stuff. There's lots of places in a hotel to put your stuff. I'll put some stuff in here, you put some stuff in there. Hey, don't put your stuff in there, that's my stuff. Here, hey, here's another place, put some stuff in here, and there's another place. Hey, you know what? We got more places than we got stuff. We're going to have to go out and buy more stuff. Finally, you put away all your stuff, but you don't quite feel at ease, 'cause you're a long way from home. Still, you sense that you must be okay, because you do have some of your stuff with you. And so, you relax in Honolulu on that basis. That's when your friend from Maui calls and says, "Hey, why don't you come over to Maui for the weekend? Spend a couple of nights over here." Oh, no. Now what do you bring? Can't bring all this stuff. You got to bring an even smaller version of your stuff. Just enough stuff for a weekend on Maui. The third version of your stuff. And as you're flying over to Maui, you realize that you're really spread out now. You got stuff all over the world. Stuff at home, stuff in the garage, stuff at your parents' house, maybe. Stuff in storage, stuff in Honolulu, and stuff on the plane. Supply lines are getting longer and harder to maintain. Finally, you get to your friend's place on Maui, and they give you a little room to sleep in. And there's a nightstand. Not much room on it for your stuff. But it's okay, 'cause you don't have much stuff now. You got your 8x10 autographed picture of Drew Carey, large can of Gorgonzola-flavored Cheese Whiz, a small unopened packet of brown confetti, a relief map of Corsica, and a family-sized jar of peppermint-flavored petrified egg whites. And you know that even though you're a long way from home, you must be okay, because you do have a good supply of peppermint-flavored petrified egg whites. And so you begin to relax in Maui on that basis. That's when your friend says, "Hey, I think tonight we'll go over the other side of the island to visit my sister. Maybe spend the night over there." Oh, no. Now what do you bring? Right. You got to bring an even smaller version, the fourth version of your stuff. Just the stuff you know you're going to need. Money, keys, comb, wallet, lighter, hanky, pen, cigarettes, contraceptives, Vaseline, whips, chains, whistles, dildos, and a book. Just the stuff you hope you're going to need. Actually, your friend's sister probably has her own dildos. And by the way, if you go to the beach while you're visiting the sister, you're going to have to bring, that's right, an even smaller version of your stuff. The fifth version. Cigarettes and wallet. That's it. You can always borrow someone's suntan lotion. And then suppose while you're there on the beach you decide to walk over to the refreshment stand to get a hot dog. That's right, my friend. Number 6. The most important version of your stuff. Your wallet. Your wallet contains the only stuff you really can't do without. Well, by the time you get home from Hawaii, you're probably fed up with all your stuff and all the problems it creates. And so about a week later, you clean out the closet, the attic, the basement, the garage, the storage locker, and all the other places you keep your stuff, and you get things down to manageable proportions. Just the right amount of stuff to lead a simple and uncomplicated life. And that's when the phone rings. It's a lawyer. Seems your aunt has died and left you all her stuff. No. Now what do? Right. You do the only thing you can do, the honorable thing. You tell the lawyer to stuff it. These are some of the things I think about when I'm sitting home alone and the power goes out. If something in the future is canceled, what is canceled? What has really happened? Something that didn't occur yet is now never going to occur at all. Does that qualify as an event? Here's something. Think about a place you've never seen, but for many years you've pictured it in your mind, and then you finally see it. After you leave, do you continue to picture it the old way? Imagine a place called Moravia, a non-existent country. See it in your mind. See a few details. Okay, now Moravia ceases to exist. Is your picture of the original non-existent country different from what it looks like now that it ceases to exist? They're both non-existent. Okay, picture Moravia again, the original way. Now Moravia is invaded by a neighboring country, Boronia. Picture Boronia. It's completely different from Moravia. Different geography, different ethnic stock, beliefs, way of life, government, everything. See it? Okay, Boronia invades Moravia and occupies it and begins to make some changes. Now picture Moravia again. Does it look different? Isn't that weird? Looks a little like Boronia, doesn't it? Here's another one. Maybe you've done this. You've never been to your friend's place of work, but you've pictured it because he's talked about it. Then he changes jobs, but it's a similar job. Do you bother to change your mental picture of where he works? And how much do you change it? Or you have a friend who works at one Wendy's and gets transferred to a different Wendy's. Do you picture a whole new Wendy's? Or do you get lazy and say, well, they're all pretty much the same, so I'll just go with the old Wendy's? Here's something I think about. If a radio station changes its call letters, moves its studio across town, hires all new disc jockeys, and changes the style of music it plays, but keeps the same frequency on the dial, is it still the same radio station? Suppose they only change the music. Here's something I like to think about. On a given day, Flight 23 goes from New York to Los Angeles. The following month, Flight 23 goes from New York to Los Angeles again. But the crew is different, the passengers are different, and it's a completely different airplane. How can both flights be Flight 23? They can't. A week is not based on anything in nature, as are days, or months, or years. So birds, they don't understand weeks or weekdays. They do know enough to come back to the sidewalk cafe every day for crumbs. But suppose the cafe is in the business district and it's closed on the weekends. What do the birds think of that? I'll bet they're really glad when Monday rolls around, unlike the rest of us. These are some of the thoughts that kept me out of the really good schools. You know what we need? New zodiac signs. The old ones, I don't know, they depict an obsolete world. The archer, the water bearer, and talk about obsolete, the virgin. What we need are modern zodiac signs that represent today's reality. The serial rapist, the lone gunman, the suicide bomber, the paranoid schizophrenic, the transsexual crackhead, the money launderer, the disgruntled postal worker, the diseased homeless veteran, the South American drug lord, the third-generation welfare recipient, the human immunodeficiency virus, and the personal trainer. And in case you're one of those people who doesn't relate well to the real world, here's a nice, safe zodiac for you. The soccer mom, the sensitive male, the special needs child, the role model, the overachiever, the jogger, the little leaguer, the recycler, the anchor person, the codependent, the Domino's delivery boy, and the recovering shopaholic.